SVG's Jason Dachman here, another episode of SVG SportsTech On Demand, covering all the latest technology news this spring season. And I'm honored to be joined by Jamie Lerner, CEO, Chairman, and President of Quantum, who has just done a tremendous job with Quantum over the last couple of years since he's come on as CEO. Jamie, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time. First and foremost, everybody healthy and safe in your household, and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm reaching out from Idaho today. My kids are both on video like I am, and doing their schoolwork. So yeah, everyone's doing as best they can under the circumstances.
Good to hear. That's what's important. Look, we know that there is no physical NAB show this year, but I'm sure it doesn't mean that you guys aren't going to have your share of news. And you'll be hosting an event coming up here in just a couple weeks. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what people can expect?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing NAB this year virtually. It's somewhat appropriate, though, for a show that's totally dedicated to video, with technology companies that have 20 years plus focus in video. It's somewhat appropriate that we're doing the show over video.
Yeah.
So, I think that's actually a testament to, our strategy, which is, I think, as you know, we're just completely all in on video tech, all things video. And, we're pretty excited about being able to at least go forward with NAB. We'll be making a series of new product announcements like we do most every year. We got some pretty exciting ones that we're doing this year. And it's just a few weeks away. So I'm glad, we're not going to be in Vegas. So there's some benefits to that, actually,
sure.
Health-wise. But we'll be doing it virtually. So it's going to be pretty fascinating.
All right, cool. So we'll keep an eye out for any big announcements and product releases coming. That'll be May 12th through 14th, and you can check out the Quantum website for more information on that. But for right now, look, I'm sure that you are in close contact with a lot of your clients and customers as they're going through some challenging times here. A lot of people don't have access to their on-site infrastructure, archives, trying to figure out remote workflows, looking at the cloud, things like that. So give us an idea of how you're working with the community and with your clients to ensure that they can continue to create and manage content through these difficult times.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different technical architectures that I think people are pressing into really hard. I think the quickest way to get productive is, how do I leverage the infrastructure that we built, right? So people have put a lot of money into high-end workstations, editing bays, high-end SAN architectures, storage architectures. And the quickest way to become productive is, how do you remotely desktop or remotely get into those systems and leverage them? So we've been doing a lot of work with folks like Teradici, NVIDIA, partners like T2, to build essentially remote desktop workstations that have both high-end video compression, high-end video transfer, and then the best video graphic representation you can get in the home to be able to leverage that remote equipment.
Sure.
So that's been one of the technical architectures that a lot of our customers have gravitated to. The other is, how do I get certain amounts of our content, our workflows recreated in a cloud environment where certain people just may not have the network infrastructure, may not have certain capabilities to make their, the in-house equipment accessible.
Right.
So we've been under a lot of pressure to get the things that they're used to having in their IT infrastructure, which are StoreNext, metadata controllers, archive systems, getting those things that we have physically, getting them represented virtually in the cloud, basically making our products all run in the cloud in a hybrid and multi-cloud environment.
Very cool. Okay. And that's allowed users to, again, continue to create content even though they can't get to their facilities, which is great.
Essentially take the StoreNext environment that they may be using and just have it run in the cloud.
Sure.
Or access it remotely as if you were sitting right in front of it, right? So those are a lot of the architectures we've been pressing into really quickly.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's going to, moving forward, these things will all have an impact even after we get to the
Mm.
other side of this thing. But I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you, especially right before everything went down, you guys announced the acquisition of ActiveScale from Western Digital, a brand that's known very well in this sector. Tell me a little bit about what that means for the quantum portfolio and what the community can kind of expect as that gets integrated into your guys' organization.
Yeah. I mean, quantum had always been known for really high speed storage, for really high end editing, and then for cheap and deep archives, the way to archive 60 years of a sport franchise, all their content. But there's a middle ground that actually has become really topical now, which is I want to archive my content, but I need to be able to retrieve it fast. I need to be able to remaster it, re-edit it, do highlight reels, and I don't want it packed away in a very slow, cheap, and deep system. I want it archived, but I need that archive to be fast. I need to be able to search it. I need to be able to grab things. And ActiveScale's object storage really filled that role of it's not extraordinarily high speed, but it's not also cheap tape storage. It is active storage. It's an active archive. And, it's funny, it's become really topical now where people are basically remastering a lot of previous content into new content.
Right.
Those type of active archives have become, I think they were an optional part of a video architecture. And now I think they're just a mandatory part of a video architecture where you have extreme high speed, long-term archival really for data protection, and then an active archive for just remastering, re-editing, remixing old content with new content in a very, quick way.
Sure. Yeah. And we're seeing all kinds of new workflows right now look, there are no live sports. So
Right.
suddenly sports content creators are discovering, oh my goodness, we have this content library that we can leverage.
Right.
And I'm sure they're going to discover all kinds of new things, and tools like that will be important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, at least in my mind, that Quantum has been pushing over the last year plus is NVMe, right? You guys announced your
Right.
F series. You've had multiple products come out from that. It's been pretty popular, and the industry has been embracing NVMe more and more, during that period of time. So tell me a little bit about how that's evolved, what you guys have planned for the F series and for, future NVMe plans, and how the industry has reacted.
Yeah, I mean, I think, four-letter acronyms always kind of confuse people. What NVMe does is, first of all, it's extraordinarily fast. So the ability to just do workflows faster, do them in higher res, do them in just more complex graphics, it's an enabler for that. But it's so fast and it's so small, people can actually reduce the size of their data center significantly, reduce the amount of power being used. The other thing that it brings is all new networking. You can use extremely low-cost forms of networking to go faster than a SAN. So it allows people to, effectively what it's allowing you to do is achieve speeds and capacity points that have been unaffordable, and achieve them with lower cost equipment, with lower cost networking technology. So it's a huge expansion of performance with a tremendous reduction in total cost of ownership. And it literally almost becomes an obvious decision when you see it. The price to performance, it literally just becomes an obvious decision for pretty much any video workflow.
And have you seen the industry acknowledge that and embrace that? And has there been more of an uptake in those kind of solutions as you guys have introduced them to the market?
Yeah, I mean, it's hands down our fastest growing product. Because again, when you lay out the economic options you have, it just kind of stands out. It's almost an obvious decision. But more so than that, it really lends itself to a hybrid multi-cloud model, because the way that it's networked, it allows you to flow data from on-premise equipment into the cloud and back in a very fluid way in how it's networked. And we've also been able to do different packagings of it. So we have packagings that are extremely highly available and really performant and are more expensive. And we have some very low cost, lower end products that people can get into really inexpensively. NVMe for a long time has had a reputation of being fast but expensive.
Right.
But now the volumes are such that the price points have dropped precipitously. And it is now, again, when you look at today's prices of NVMe and the way we've packaged it into very low cost offerings, it almost becomes impossible to justify buying high speed hard drives. And there's almost no economic justification of SSDs.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we're going to hear more about that at your guys' virtual NAB event. Again, it's May 12th through 14th. Check out Quantum's website for more information on that. As well as, in addition to NVMe, I'm sure there'll be some other news. We're excited to hear about it. Jamie, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Really appreciate you taking the time, and our best to the entire Quantum team.
All right, Jason, thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
For more episodes of SVG Sports Tech On Demand, stay tuned to sportsvideo.org and the SVG YouTube channel.